There's three things that you need to achieve with your writing. You need to write early, you need to write often, and you need to write well. Let's talk about each of those three, and those are part of my course on how to transform your academic performance and finish your degree. And writing is just such an important part of getting through a postgraduate level qualification. But the lesson that I teach in that course is broken down into these three principles, and more detail is in the course. And I'll put a link to that in the description. So write early, often, and well. Early, yes, it could be early in the morning if that's your approach for the day, and when you're the most focused and you can get the most work done, then it could mean that you must write early in the day. But generally what I'm talking about is write early on in your degree, and write towards your thesis or dissertation as early as possible. But for any writing project, and we all are natural procrastinators, that's just our human nature. So if you can discipline yourself to write as early as possible for, most importantly, your final report, thesis or dissertation, but for any proposal or writing project that you have to do, you'll find that the stress level of cramming it in the last moment, you'll try and avoid that if you manage to write early. And it'll mean that you can improve your writing, because you'll have something to work with and to get feedback on and to sleep on and reflect on, etc. So write early in your degree, but also write early in the day. And that links to the next one, write often. So write every day. Absolutely have to write every day. When I was doing my studies, I would try and stop off in the morning at a coffee shop and get in maybe 40-45 minutes of writing, and you need to try and build the same sort of discipline into your routine. And whatever that routine is, you must just make sure that writing becomes a part of it, and find a way of doing it so that you just get into a habit of writing as often as possible. So writing as often as possible also means linking it to things that happen during your degree. So if you're doing lab work or field work or gathering data, write up those results as quickly as possible. Write up your reflections on interviews or qualitative research that you're doing. Write often. Just get into the habit of making sure that writing becomes a part of your daily routine and a part of how you approach any aspect of your postgraduate studies. And then, of course, write well. And I think the more you do the first two, the better you're going to get at the third. But in the course, I talk about very practical principles and tips and tricks for how you should write well, and there's a couple there that we can touch on. Number one is complexity last. So in your sentence construction, as you're explaining concepts to your reader, don't hit them too early with too much complexity or concepts that are difficult to understand or need explanation. Build up to complex topics. And even in a sentence, if you've got a choice between putting the more or less complex topic at the beginning, then put the less complex topic at the beginning, the more complex topic at the end. And linked to that principle of writing is another practice of old before new. So again, try and reinforce concepts that you've already talked about or written about with the reader. Don't launch into new concepts. And in the course, I'll show you graphically, and I put it up on the screen, a couple of examples of sentences that do and don't comply with those practices. And I give you some exercises to try out for yourself as to how you can apply those practices to improve your writing. And there's lots more in the course with regards to writing well, which I take you through, such as how to avoid nominalizing your verbs, how to make your subjects real, and a few more principles that really just get you back to writing properly. And these are things we learned at school, but we seem to make our academic writing unnecessarily complex, and that's not good writing. So write early, write often, and write well. If you want more, do the course.